Hello, this is Dan Frankton. I am the Key Stage 4 lead for Mathematics, and today I'm going to just give you a brief introduction to GCSE Mathematics, the course that your child will be studying, which is AQA GCSE Maths 8300, and what you can expect from the Maths department over the next 2 years. So we'll start with a summary. Higher tier, where everyone should be aiming for a grade 6 or above, and foundation tier, where everybody should be aiming for a grade 5. There's no formula sheet. There used to be one in the old style of paper. This is no longer the case, and there's a lot more formula that students need to remember and commit to memory. Foundation tier, it includes several topics that were previously only on the higher tier. That explains why there's an overlap in terms of grades of 2 grades, which is grades 4 and 5 can be achieved on either paper. A big focus on ratio and proportion now throughout the whole GCSE, as well as general problem solving, and also questions that combine 2 very different topics into one. And then finally, there are more exams. Instead of 2 exams like there used to be, there are now 3 1.5 hour long papers. So if we take a look at the assessment structure, we can see that paper 1 is non-calculator, and papers 2 and 3 are calculator allowed. Each one is worth 80 marks, each one is 1.5 hours, and there's no difference in terms of topics that could come up, apart from obviously certain topics that do or do not need a calculator can come up on those papers. So obviously calculators are quite a big deal for the new exam when 2/3 of the course is assessed using one. The school recommends highly the Casio FX85 GT Plus or the FX83 GT Plus. There's the older version, and there's also a slightly updated one with a different screen. Either one's fine for your GCSEs, they do everything that you need it to. However, I will point out that there is the Casio FX991EX, which is worth considering if you're thinking about taking A-level maths or the 1-year mathematical studies, of course, when you go to sixth form or college. That calculator, it does just a couple of extra things that are useful at GCSE. Mainly it can solve a simultaneous equation, and also it can solve a quadratic. So throughout GCSE, revision, review, recap, working on your weaknesses, those are key points if you're going to really achieve the best grade that you can. And MathSwatch is one way to make that happen. So I'm sure you've seen it at Key Stage 3. It's a series of videos that cover every single topic. You watch it, you make notes on it, and then you answer the questions that she gives, and then she'll talk through the example that she's just given you and explain how to get the answer. On top of that, we have the interactive questions. Sometimes we'll set homeworks on it. And then if you really want to, there's a worksheet that you can print off and do by hand. Every student's been emailed their updated logins for this academic year. They will have a new password. Their login details, though, as in their username, will remain the same. So if we take a quick look at the MathSwatch website, so we've got qualification GCSE, and then I've searched for angles, so there's all the clips about angles. So here's the video, it's 2 minutes 31, so if you watch that, you'll press play, you'll listen to it, you'll take notes, it'll say pause it and have a go. You need to pause it and actually have a go, not just let it play through. And then you are ready to have a go at some of the interactive questions, or print off the worksheet and do those. Now if you look, there is actually an option there that says 1 minute maths. That's like a really condensed video that is 1 minute long, and it just goes through the key points. It's really good for quick revision as opposed to working on a topic that you're really struggling with. Obviously homework has been set in Key Stage 3 on MathSwatch. That will continue at Key Stage 4. We think it's a really good way to set homework. I mean, the main advantages are that they would write it, they put in their answer, they can work on paper or anything like that. They don't need to hold all that information in their head. In fact, we'd probably encourage them to have a piece of scrap paper to do their workings on. And then they put their answer into the website, and it will mark it straight away, and they'll know there and then whether they've got it correct without being told what the correct answer is. Because sometimes, obviously, in a textbook, you've got the answer, you see it, you know it. So this works a lot better that way. Obviously, they can reattempt questions, so there's always a chance to improve your score if it isn't quite 100%. So I personally, with my classes, I set them the target to try and get 100%. And then the added bonus is, obviously, they're doing this at home. You may not be strong at maths yourself, but there is a video which links to each of the questions that they can play and get a clue as to what to do. Now, obviously, not everyone likes doing all their work online, and also there are different ways and different things that you might want to practice. So, particularly during year 10, one of our focuses is on key skills needed for the GCSE. And these two books here, the knowledge quizzes, are particularly useful for drilling the essential facts necessary for success in the GCSE maths exam. There's just a few questions, quite repetitive. You just sit, you do them, and you work your way through it. And by the end of it, that knowledge should be embedded in your memory. Obviously, once you're in year 11, exam preparation is key. How do we make that happen? Well, obviously exam style questions become a more regular part of the lesson and homeworks. Towards the February half term, we tend to start handing out the past papers, because by that point we'll have finished all the course and we'll be getting to the point where we're ready to tackle a full GCSE paper. We print those off. We do ask for a contribution of, I think it's usually about £3 to cover those printing costs, but it's definitely worth it having their own copy to write on. Then there's revision flashcards. These are from the Corbett Maths website. There's a picture there in the bottom right, and each topic has a brief recap on just a little card of all the key points for each topic. So there we can see angles and polygons, and it gives you the sum of the interior angles for each one. Revision classes, we like to run revision classes after school. Again, that usually starts around about the February half term. We do send a letter out to remind parents of this and also give them a rough idea of what the timetable is going to look like for revision classes, which days and which teachers will be running them. So what can you as parents do to help your child do their best? Obviously, make them keep up with their work and everything like that. But if you're looking for other websites with resources, there are plenty out there. Some are better than others, but some useful ones that we recommend as a department are Corbett Maths. Again, a little bit like MathSwatch, there's videos, there's questions, but then there's also a daily 5-a-day revision worksheet, which is really good, again, for just practicing those little skills again and again and again, and getting in that routine of doing a little bit of maths every day. There's another one called MathSpot. I personally really like this one, especially the GCSE exam styles questions, because you can pick a topic and then you can just keep generating the same type of question but with different numbers. So it's really good for drilling the method and just changing the numbers each time. So once you're happy with the method, you can just get it right every single time. And then another one, especially for people who are looking for exam style questions, is mathsgenie.co.uk. Mathsgenie, what they've done is they've gone through loads and loads of past papers, and then they've cut them up and sorted them by topic, and then they've also sorted them by grade. So for example, you can go on that website and you can look for an angles topic, and it'll tell you what grade it is, and it'll give you all the different kinds of angles questions that have come up in past papers. So that's the end of my brief introduction to Key Stage 4 Mathematics. If you do have any further questions, then please do get in touch to the Maths department through your child's class teacher, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you do have, any queries, anything like that. And I hope this has been useful.